Okay, Project Bandit, Phase 3, Part 18. All of you kept on the tank fabrication about neon lights underneath. Well, it's time to deal with the back light. Fabricated that for now. It's time to deal with this next. This is the next thing on the list. Going to be swapping out this backlight for something far more modern. Welcome back to Delboy's Garage. Okay, now you all know and love these. This is the old venerable Velocette backlight thingamabob, which I've had for years. That backlight was on a friend's bike years ago and I've had it forever. And you see how they work. I'll just show it in the working mode. There it is. It's just a bulb, and for the stoplight you get a bulb in the top, and that's it. Now there are a couple of problems with this, and I'll show you in a minute. It's a pretty unreliable unit, and it's been around since about 1920. It really has, and I'm not kidding with that. That is on I think there's a Velocette light to start with, and as such it's well and truly past its sell-by date, so it's time to change it. So let's get the battery off, get all the stuff out of the way, and then I can see what's in there. I'm going to disconnect it all and take it off. Right. Obviously this light's been in here a long time, and the couple of years or so that I've been riding around with this, you can see this rust and stuff that's all developed. And all this wiring here, this is all for the backlight, earths and stuff. I'm just going to chop off all these nice neat cable ties to just unwire everything, get all this wiring out, get all this loom back in the world so I can see what I'm doing with it. Alright, so here we've got there'll be one for the brake, one for the tail light, and there's an earth there. So just need to disconnect it all. First of all, fasteners off there. It was about, I was going to take this off anyway. Had I not decided to go for a more modern light, I was going to take all this off anyway. And made all this detachable. So right, that's the old light. It's the holes that we put in. I'm going to clean it up, put a little drop of paint on it. But for now, let's compare this to the light that's going in. Right, this is the old Velocette style backlight. Been around since the year dot. You have a ring there that pulls off. This is a chrome stamped out thingamabob. You can see it's chrome because it's all rusty and horrid. Then you get a plain lens like that and two bulbs. It ain't any harder than that. This is the simplest piece of technology. You get a piece of plastic in there like that that sends a white light, and although that's working, that bulb there, actually you can see this now, this light does a bulb that's going already. It's working, but that's not got long for this world. And this thing does a bulb about every 6 weeks. It's a pain in the arse because the water gets in there, it just works its way up, and it's just not very cool. So instead of all that, what I've got that's way more modern, let me just put it back together because I want to keep it. I think I mentioned a few times in the past that this particular exact light, this actual light, has a little bit of sentimental value, but I won't bore you with the boring story again, so there it is. So I'm just going to poke that back in just for keep sakes, and that will go there. It's getting a bit gnarly, so it don't really fit back together anymore. They do get a bit knobbly in the end. Right,
a bit like us, really.
Bit like me really, yeah, right.
Like
so here, this is the much more modern one. Let me show you. There we go. Now that is the more modern version of that. And there's a couple of reasons why it's modern. You might have spotted it already. This one has two wires. One, I did all this. This is heat shrink. I did that to try and keep the water out. But you basically have a wire for that bulb, a wire for that bulb, and it earths through the metal body. This one has 3 wires. Now those of you wiring gurus who know what that means, you'll see in a second. Straight away I'll show you the difference and why this is more modern, and that is because, first of all, this stoplight piece is stainless steel. So although it looks chrome, it's been polished to look like chrome. It is stainless steel, so that won't go all skanky and rusty like that. But the best part is, as you can see, let's just get a pencil, I can just lift that out. There it is. Now round here you've got a rubber seal, which has never been, I've never seen that on those before, but look at that. That's the best part. They have in them an LED circuit board, so they're all LED. There's no bulbs in there at all. Now, interestingly enough, you've got this weird patination or shapeage to the way that the bulbs or the LED units are arranged. And the reason for that is, when you look, you've got two triangles of them there at the bottom, and that's the two main lights there. And at the top, as you can see, where the S is, there's no LEDs. So there are no LEDs, LED bulbs if you like, not showing through. There are none that are behind the steel. So you're going to get the brightest possible effect, and there are 24 LEDs. And any of you know your power, that is a mighty bright backlight. Simple as that. And the greatest part of it is, in behind that circuit board is a secondary circuit board there, which does your number plate light. And this is hard perspex that's been permanently shaped to the metal body that it sits in. Now that is a thick, almost feels like a cast metal body, whereas that is literally a piece of stamped tin. That is a piece of, well, looks like a bit of a Tupperware pot, but that is proper plexiglass, and it's all sealed. There's a rubber seal all around the inside. This lens goes in, it's got a rubber seal around it, so that's going to be pretty much sealed in there. And I think personally that that is by far and away a more modern version of my favourite backlight. I wasn't ever going to have anything like this because I'm just not interested in modern backlights. I wanted this light, and the most important thing obviously was that I built the tail unit to accommodate this light. So that tail unit was fabricated specifically for this light. Now I spotted this on Motone's website, and now this brings me to Penny's bike we've recently been dealing with. I'll put that in properly in a sec. With this, we spotted when we were looking on Penny's bike, I wanted something more interesting, because you know the lights on the Bonneville are a little bit bad on the back, just a bit lame. So we've been looking for lights, and in the midst of it all, I spotted this. So I'm going to put one of these on the back of Penny's bike, but this isn't going on Penny's. This is going on the back of the Bandit. So the first job, all I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up, paint a little bit of that in there, prepare it, and then I just got to pop this in, plug the wiring in, and we should be good to go. I'll show you what it works. Obviously, advisable not to
You don't want all black wires.
paint your wiring. No, it's not the sensiblest thing in the world, especially if you need to know what colour's what. What I'm doing is just covering this with a little bit of this black paint, just to give it a bit of protection. Being as how this is a rat bike, it doesn't need a lot more. So I have to enlarge the holes out a bit to get them in, because they're closer together, that's all. Right, now not the best of fabrications really, but what I'm going to do, this is just a temporary fit, just to get this on and get it working, and introduce this light to you to show you if you fancy one, and what it's all about and where to get it from. I will make a plate for the back of this completely that's exactly fitted with a little rubber pad on the inside, but for now that is strong, secure and going nowhere. We've even gone over to 8mm fasteners, or 8mm nuts instead of 5/16, so all things modern. Right, okay, that's it fitted on the bike. There you go, pedal drain. Much more modern, wouldn't you say, looking at it? Much more modern, look at that. Okay, now we've just got to lace the right wires to the right pieces with some decent connectivity, and we'll see if it works. Right, these connectors, I haven't got any to match these, but I have got some matching ones, so I'll just take these off and put some fresh ones on. Simple as that. Those out of the way. There we are. Going to use squeeze connectors on these because I think they're by far and away a better connector than soldering. Could be something to do with the fact that my soldering's rubbish. It's not good enough. It's certainly never going to be as good as a decent quality squeeze joint, correctly fitted and heat shrunk over. And also then you can take the thing off. There's nothing worse than fitting a light and soldering all the joints together, and if you ever come to take it off you can't, you've got to cut your joints open again. Far better to have plugs and just unplug it. That's what the factory does, so why change it? Right, let's get it all connected up. And there we are. Nearly done. Okay. Right, a little quick tidy up with the cable ties, and she's ready for testing. All these things, this isn't permanent. I'm going to put a little plate across the inside, but for now that will do. So they're not rubbing on the battery or anything else. All that wiring's neat, tucked and stowed. And don't pinch them too tight if you're going to do this yourself. Just do the cable ties up so you can still wiggle them about and they're not too tight, otherwise cause the wiring to overheat. Right, let's pop the battery back in and see if it works, shall we, Ben?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Right, there's a good 6mm there. If you have a look down there, you can't really see, I'm sure.
No.
There's loads of gap there. Get a finger down between the battery and these two bolt heads. And I always cable tie the battery in, so it's not an issue. Right. Pop it back on. Yeah. Right, there we are. Battery terminals in. Done. Let's protect that. Put the battery in later on. We're just going to do a quick test now. Let's go. What do you pen?
Let's see.
3, 2, 1. Dun, dun, dun.
Hey.
There we go. Typical LED performance. That instantaneous light. Love it. Brake light as well. Absolutely love that. Check the rear brake light works. Yeah, fantastic. And at the same time, you've got this great number plate light underneath, as the original one had. It's a lot more functional. Obviously, the old one. These are normally old things. These are chrome and they rust. This one's rusted quite badly over the years, but this is stainless steel. It is polished stainless, so that won't rust, as is the case around the outside. It's stainless underneath that powder coating. You've got this lens, which is a much nicer lens than this clear thing. And instead of a couple of bulbs, you've got that fantastic little LED circuit board inside there. Now, Motone make these themselves. They're actually knocking these out and making them by themselves. They're not buying them in from anywhere. I've looked elsewhere. I always check these things when I read up on them, and I can't for the life of me find them anywhere other than on Motone. So you know what it is, motone.co.uk, and if you get a front page, and it has two links, one to their Facebook page and one to their eBay site. It's ever so simple. Go on eBay, treat yourself. How much do you think they are? When I saw them, I thought, yeah, they're going to be 40 quid because it's all LED. Half the price. £19.99, 20 quid that was, literally, and I think that was worth buying. Didn't really need it, to be honest. But it's there. I love it. It's going to give the bike a little bit more continuity because I'm putting LED lights on the front. I'm going to go into that later on. Not going to bore you with it now, but I need to do some fabrication. The front lights are all going to be on fabricated brackets down in the engine cage, which is fabrication, welding and so on. It is 3 days before the Bulldog bash now, and we haven't got the time to start getting involved. We've got so much to do, haven't we, Pen?
Yep.
All the logistics and packing. You know what it's like when you've got a big rally coming up. We've got so much to do. I haven't even took the tent out of its bag since the last rally, so I don't even know if it's got a big hole in it the moths have eaten. So there we are. We've got to get everything ready. Haven't got time to do more. I thought tonight would be great fun just to fit that backlight, and it feels great. I like that. Do you like that, Pen?
I like it.
I promised you something more modern. To those of you who wanted LED lights, now you've got them.
Pretty
so now
lights.
you can shut up, can't you? Alright, no neon lights, but LEDs, yes. And definitely on the front, we've got some big, nasty 24-volt burners, which are going to be great. But all that's going to be after the Bulldog Bash because we just haven't got the time at the moment. So there we are. Hope you like that. Ride safe. See you next time.